Good morning. Today we are covering section 1.1, adding and subtracting real numbers. This should be a review from 8th grade, and all of you guys should be familiar with the rules of addition. You need to be able to memorize the following rules. If they have the same sign, we're going to add the numbers. If they have different signs, we're going to subtract the numbers. We're always going to keep the sign of the larger number. Let's go into example number 1. We have a 7 plus a negative 9. If you notice, they have different signs, so we're going to subtract. 9 minus 7 is 2, and we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. We're looking at the 7 and the 9. The 9 is bigger than the 7, so we're going to keep the negative. So your answer is negative 2. On letter B, we have a negative 3 and a negative 6. They have the same sign, so we're going to be adding. 3 plus 6 will be 9. And we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. We have a 3 and a 6. We're going to keep the sign of the 6, which is a negative. For letter C, we have a negative 7 and a 3, positive 3. Different signs, so we're going to subtract. 7 minus 3 is 4. We're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is 7, so we're going to keep the negative for my answer. Negative 4. Letter D. Negative 2 plus 9, different signs. Go and finish letter D, E, and F and see what you get, and then we can compare answers. Go and pause it. So for letter D, we have a negative 2 and a 9, different signs, so we're going to subtract. 9 minus 2 is 7, and we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number, which is the positive 9. For letter E, 5 and negative 3, different signs, so we're going to subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number is 5, so we're going to keep as a positive 2. Letter F, negative 1 and negative 6, we have same sign, so we're going to be adding, and we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number, which is a negative. Remember, same sign you add, different signs you subtract, and you keep the sign of the bigger number. Example number 2. On example number 2, we're going to have a subtraction, but we're going to be using the same rules. The only thing that if we have two negatives, we need to be able to convert it into an addition, just like we've done here. Negative 7 minus negative 8, when we have two negatives, that becomes an addition. We're going to have to rewrite it. We are going to rewrite this as 9 plus 5. So we have 14. Here we find two negatives, so that will be a positive. Negative 2 plus 5. They have different signs, so we're going to subtract, and we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number, which is a 5. For letter C, this is a negative 7 minus 1. The negative belongs to the 1, and this is something that you guys have to get used to, that the negative belongs to the 1, not to the 7. So they have the same sign, we are going to be adding, and we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. We have a 1 and a 7, the 7 is a bigger number, so we're going to keep the negative. Letter D. And you need to be able to, underline each of the numbers in the sign. Do not underline just the 3. The negative belongs to the 3. So they have the same sign. You're going to add, a plus 3 is 11, and keep the sign of the bigger number, so it's negative. Remember, go and try the letter E and F and see what you get, and then we can compare answers. Go and pause it. So for letter E, we have a 3. We're going to rewrite this as a positive. Remember, two negatives is going to give us a positive. And on your homework, I need to make sure that every time you have two negatives, you have to rewrite it in order to be able to receive credit. So I'll give us a 9. We have two negatives together. That will make it a positive. So negative 4 plus 9. They have different signs, so we're going to subtract. We're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is a 9, so that's a positive. Let's continue with example number 3. For example number 3, we have more than one addition. We are going to work from left to right to be able to simplify it. We have 3 minus 7 minus negative 2. We have simplified those two. They have different signs, so 3 minus 7, different signs, so we're going to subtract, and we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number, which is the 7, that's a negative. Now I'm going to change this to an addition when I bring it down, so plus 2. Different signs, you're going to subtract. That'll give me a 2. And I'm going to keep the sign of the bigger numbers, which is negative. Remember, you want to be able to work from left to right. Letter B. 5 plus negative 8 minus 1. We're going to simplify those first two. Different signs, so I'm going to subtract. I'm going to keep the sign of the bigger number, and then I have minus 1. We have a negative 3 and a negative 1, same sign. Remember, that negative belongs to the 1. So I'm going to add. I'm going to keep the sign of the bigger number, so I say negative. Try letter C and D, see what you get, and we can compare answers. Go and pause it. So for letter C, combine those two. Same sign, that's a negative 1, that's a negative 5. I'm going to add, keep the sign of the bigger number, 1 and a 5. I'm going to keep the sign of the 5, which is negative, plus 4. Different signs, I'm going to subtract. That'll give me a 2. I'm going to keep the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is 6, so I'm going to keep the negative. Letter D. Simplify those two from left to right. Negative 2 minus 3, same sign. That's a negative 2, that's a negative 3. I'm going to add. I'm going to keep the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is a 3, so I'm going to keep the negative. I'm going to rewrite this as a positive 9. Different signs. Negative 5 plus 9 is 4. I subtracted, and I kept the sign of the bigger number, which is a 9, so I make it positive. On your homework, you need to make sure that you give me all 3 steps and that you underline, just like I did, the step that you're working on, so I can go back and check your work. Let's continue with the back side. On the back side are simple translations. You need to be able to translate the following phrases to algebraic expressions. With your red pen, I want you guys to start to circle the keywords that are going to give you mathematical operations. So we have of, and, divided by, and is equal to. And we just, it's like in this case, will be the sum. So for example number 4, we are going to translate the following phrases to algebraic expression. This should be also a review, and you want to be able to read the sentence carefully, and with your red pen, circle the words that are going to give you some type of operation within your expression. So it says the sum of x and 5 divided by 12 is equal to 2. So if I think, okay, the sum of is going to give me an addition. I'll place an addition underneath. Divided by is going to be a division. And equals is going to be an equal sign. Now I want you guys to see if you guys can translate it to an expression. So the sum of x and 5, that means I'm going to have to add x plus 5 divided by 12, so the whole thing will be divided by 12. That's going to be equal to 2. Now notice that you don't want to just place a division, because both of those two items, the x and the 5, has to be divided by 12, equal to 2. So let's go through the same process on letter B. On letter B, we have x added to the quotient of 5 and 2 is 12. So with your red pen, I want you guys to think about what are the keywords that are going to give you operations within your expression. In this case, we have added 2, very good. The quotient of 2 and 5 and s. Added, that's going to be an addition. Quotient is also a division. S is an equal sign. X is added to the quotient of 5 and 2 and is 12. So X is added to the addition, the quotient of 5 and 2. So we're going to divide those two numbers, 5 and 2, and that is going to be equal to 12. Go and box in your answers. And let's go to the last one. 2 more than x divided by 2 equal to 12. Go ahead and pause it, see if you guys can do it by yourselves. Make sure that you guys underline or circle your keywords, place that operation underneath, and then translate it. Pause it. So first, 2 more than x divided by 2 equals. So we know the more than is going to be a plus, divided is a division, and equals. You have to be very careful. When it says 2 more than x, when you translate it, the x has to go first and then plus 2. And we'll go over this later on, a little more of the notation, more than, less than, and other ones that are key where you actually have to rewrite them backwards. And you have to kind of think through the process. Divided by 2, so we are going to divide the whole thing by 2, and that is going to be equal to 12. Notice that those two are connected, so both of them are divided by 2. Thank you so much. Make sure to email me if you have any questions, and have a great day.